what we do it for, brother. Good job. Good job. It's positive, you know? All right.
She's in the back of the vehicle. She's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Vehicle's upside down. Some of the one window is halfway down. One window is all the way down. Whew. Call the authorities.
How is everyone? I hope you're all well. So what you've just watched there is Nick, and you know, this clip here just, I think, summarises what he felt when he came across Kylie. The guy looks shocked to his core. He looks like he's seen something that he certainly wasn't prepared for, and something that he's likely to carry with him for the rest of his life. And I don't think everybody truly thinks about it. They don't truly understand that, especially the people who were, you know, throwing shade on Adventures with Purpose, you know, saying that they were clout chasers and things of the such. And, you know, these are a bunch of guys who, God, they've got a YouTube channel. You know, I heard a lot of people saying, well, they've got a YouTube channel, it's X amount of size, and it's, you know, it's going to generate this amount of income. What people don't understand is the work that it takes to just maintain that. You know, if they're interacting with people, if they're, you know, dealing with comments, if they're dealing with inquiries, if they're doing the videos, the editing, the filming, the whole process, you know, they won't be dealing with that themselves because it wouldn't physically be possible. I struggle, and, you know, this is a fraction of the size of that channel, and I struggle to keep up with it. So you can just imagine how much work will go into a channel like that. Plus they've got to do what they do and go around and, you know, all over the place. And anyway, I digress. The king of digression. But look, there's something else that you're seeing here. And what you're seeing is something being saved. And that is Kylie. She was saved here, even though ultimately they found her deceased, sadly. Could you imagine what the alternative would have been? Law enforcement had failed. They had failed. Now, there's speculation on, you know, whether they intentionally didn't find her. You know, we know that corruption exists. It does. It certainly does exist. But, you know, some of us don't want to fully give up on law enforcement. You know, some of us are in the understanding that they are there to do a job, and that job is to protect and serve the public. You know, who do we turn to in a time of need if indeed we should be turning to law enforcement? What is the alternative? Is that what the future looks like when you know, you've got an issue and you've got someone who's missing, you've got someone who you love, who something has happened to them, that you now have to go to YouTube to sort it out? You know, because that's what happened here. The alternative doesn't look good. What if Adventures with Purpose had not got involved with the Kiely Rodni case? Would we be dealing with another Michael Vaughan case? Would we be dealing with another Summer Wells case? Oakley Carlson? Harmony Montgomery? And the many, many more. There's so many cases that we do not talk about, that don't go viral, they don't take off. What about those cases? How many of those cases has law enforcement failed? How many thousands of man hours have been put into a situation that has not come to fruition, and it was a very, very simple mistake. You know, for them to tell Adventures with Purpose, there is no point in looking there. It's been done. You can cross it off. You know, 9,500 hours, 10,000 hours, whatever it is. Divers. And, you know, people will reach out and they'll say, look, you got to say that they don't have the sonar equipment. And I think, yeah, it could be a part to play. You know, they're saying that the car was a very similar colour to the base of that reservoir, and that could have had a part to play. But there is, I don't want to play devil's advocate, but many people saw that vehicle from the aerial drone footage. Many people saw that. You know, the car wasn't in 150 feet of water at 200 feet away from the shore. It was 50 feet out from the shoreline in 14 feet of water. Now, there is some confusion whether the vehicle was 14 feet deep or whether the water was 14 foot. That was showing that the water was 14 foot, which means that the car wasn't even 14 feet at its shallowest point. And vehicles are around nearly 6 foot tall, so half of that distance. So between the surface and the top of that vehicle was somewhere probably around 5 foot, if we're going with the depth of the water was 14 feet, not the depth of the vehicle. So they missed it, and this is, a 4-ton lump of metal, which, you know, that, yes, they weren't able to immediately turn around and say, well, Nick wasn't able to turn around and say, look, I 100% know this is a car, come over, I found a car. He had to call, you know, get the big guy in, and, you know, Doug very, very quickly, I think he knew. I don't think he wanted to admit it was a car, but he knew that was a car. He even went as far as knowing that that was a fairly newish car as well. You know, so it makes you think things have got to get better. You know, the cost of living, the cost of having these services are increasing all the time. The normal working person is being crucified, but what we get in return is diminishing, from the size of the food portions that you get, to the service that you get, to the commodities that you get for the money that you pay for them. But how far is it when you're not getting the service that you pay for and you rely upon that could potentially find your child? You're not getting the service that you should be getting in that situation. You know, it's bad enough, like I say, when you're not getting the food portions or the energy or the stuff that you need for your pets and your children, you know, and you can't do anything, you know, from a fun perspective to have a nice life because you're too busy just putting food on the table. That's bad enough. But when there's services out there that are failing to find poor girls like Kylie, and look, and we've now got to trust that the people who couldn't find a 4-ton piece of metal in 14 feet of water are going to do an adequate job to ascertain exactly what happened to Kylie and how. And from what it says, even though it hasn't been set in stone, it would appear that there is a potential for this to be ruled as an accident. There seems to be some people around this case who seem to be quite confident. Jagger, Westfall, you know, he's kind of saying that a lot of it is rubbish, what's being put out there. Kylie was drunk driving, steep water's edge, and it could have happened to anyone. That's his exact words. You know, well, that's without all the other stuff. Do you know what I mean? I was looking the other day, there's a picture, I'm going to show you it here. And this is of the place where Kylie lost her life, supposedly after attending a party with between 200 and 300 other teenagers. And what has she got as a memorial around that area? She's got less than you would see strapped to a lamppost on just a random road traffic collision. It's a sad sight to see, but it's just another element to this case that offers complete and utter frustration. But if you're one of these people who are throwing shade on the likes of Adventures with Purpose, just stop for a minute. Just stop for a minute and understand what would have happened had Kylie have not been found by these guys. Are we saying that we would have been talking about this case like we have cases like the Summer Wells case, and would have been talking about it for the next year, 18 months, wondering where she is, who's got her? Was it that person? Was it this person? We know she didn't leave, we know she's not around the campground because police spent all that time. They told us she's not there, so she must have been kidnapped. And how do we know that that isn't a similar situation in some of these other cases that we've all grown close to? How do we know that the answer isn't just at the end of our fingertips, just that close, but the person or persons that were just going to give us that slight extension to grab hold of what we're looking for just wasn't there for some reason, whether it was because law enforcement, they didn't want the help, or someone else didn't ask for it, too proud. I don't know. I don't know where you guys are, what you think. It's a little bit of a different video today, a bit of a somber feel to it, because I kind of just thought to myself, what? Look at this guy. He found her. He then got ridiculed for it. They got called names for it. But did all of these people who did that, did they truly think of the alternative? I'll catch you all on the next one.